All right, hello. So that was the interview we did with Miss Kali. Let me turn my other thing off. All right, so yeah, so that was pretty interesting because YouTube allows you to do a post redirection, which I thought was pretty cool. First time I ever tried it. So I got to pretty much do this for about maybe 10 minutes. I invited Kali to come on to talk about what happened today with her feature on the Epoch Times, published about 2 or 3 hours ago. So I started scrambling to figure out how am I going to put this in because I want to get some recognition for her because I thought it was pretty cool. I mean, it's a great spread. So she pops on here in a few minutes. I will bring her on. We'll ask her. But just want to basically say, thank you so much for, supporting this channel. And I'm really encouraged with what I'm seeing. And I think what's going to happen is I think we're going to see this country start to come together once they start realizing that they've been gaslit. I mean, we're seeing now that there's polls now that are showing that the confidence in the media's coverage of the presidency is really, really low. And people are feeling that they're really being lied to, right? And so what that's going to do is going to lead to even more animosity and more people either tuning in more directly and being more, what's what I'm looking for, having more concernment when it comes to the coverage. And Epoch Times is a publication which I don't think they're on the right, but the way we are today, I mean, they're not on the left either, but I'm saying, but the thing is that they just put stuff out there like it's supposed to be out there, like it's impartial. And it's the best publication I've seen with no blatant direction in terms of where they lean. Of course, things like okay, Kelly's coming on here. Let's get her on here real quick. I'm just babbling. So let's pull her on here. Let me pull this banner off first. And, I was too fast there. Let me get all right, let me get rid of this. This is from my other show, so I'm putting it back wrong stuff. So let me get rid of this banner here. All right. Now bring her on. All right, let's do this. Add to the stream, and we're gonna put her in here. Let me get my. So, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me? I'm on my phone.
Yes.
So.
Oh, so looks good. Looks good. Okay. So, what do you think?
It was great. That was awesome.
Yeah, that was a tough one to put together because it was so long.
Yeah.
And there were so many good moments I wanted to get on the screen and sort of like just, show reactions and stuff. It took me 2 days to edit that.
Oh, I'm sure. You put a lot of work in your content.
I'm sorry?
You're impressive. Like I keep telling you all day, I want to be you when I grow up.
Well, I'm kind of a nerd in terms of IT stuff, tech stuff. So I kind of done this for a while on different platforms. Yeah. I just learned recently just how to integrate it with social media and the new technology. Because back in the day, this was impossible, right? We would use stuff called Real Player. You had to download the software. You had to have codecs. You had to have all kind of technical knowledge. And that's all done for you. And so now you can be more creative now. You can really focus on what you want to do in terms of figuring out how to do it. So it comes across well only because I have a bit of a head start in terms of the back end stuff. So that's all it is.
That's awesome. So, that's awesome. Yeah. But, it's been quite a day. I'm tired.
Yeah, I'm not going to hold you long. I have a thing coming up, but I just want to have you talk about a little bit, if you can, about the Epoch Times article. And did you know it's going to come out, or did you just?
No, I had no. You know what's funny? I got interviewed for it like 2 weeks ago, and I just didn't even think anything of it because he was like interviewing everyone that went to that board meeting, pretty much. And so I didn't think it was going to be like featured,
Right.
And so when it came out, I was like. I got the text from him today, and I clicked on it, and I was like, "There's my picture. It's a cover story on the Epoch Times." And I'm just like, "What? Like, what's that?" And it was really beautifully written, and they're just such an amazing news organization. They are just classic good journalism that we do not have very much left in our country right now, and so it's just such an honor to be, interviewed by the Epoch Times for this subject, especially because it has to do with our nation's kids.
Yes, yes. I know you're tired. I don't want to hold you long.
Oh no, I'm fine actually. I'm just tired. I mean, I'll probably still be up for another. I still have an episode of The Mandalorian to watch. So,
Dude, we got it. Dude, I'm sorry to geek out on you guys.
yeah,
I'm. Oh, it's
yeah,
so good.
yeah, it is really good. So I'm still up. I'm just tired just from everything that's happened today. I mean, we had a hurricane last night in Florida as well. So it never really hit our area, but I didn't sleep too well last night because it's my first hurricane in Florida. Because I'm not normally from here. And then the Epoch Times article came out, and that was just really amazing news and just stuff like that.
Well, I mean, I told you I didn't know about this because you didn't know about it, so I didn't know about it. But I told you yesterday whenever we talked.
Yeah.
I told you pretty much that I had a feeling about you. I mean, and just like Keisha King, just like I mean, people I interviewed for some reason they just take off, like I mean, Angel Kiraz, he's blown up in New York. You got conservative guy, he's got 100,000 subscribers on YouTube now, and I mean, I can go on. There's several others. I mean,
you find the Jedi's, Obi-Wan.
Hey, if that's my role in life, that's great. I can stay small out of the limelight. That's perfect. But anyway, let me ask a couple more questions, and again, if you want to talk more, you can, especially about the Mandalorian. I'm all over that. But, so you were on a board meeting? Was that what it was? You said?
Yeah. So it was a board meeting where a group of parents were speaking against critical race theory in our district because our district snuck it in. We have a class called Ethnic Studies, and we require all our 9th graders to take it in my district in Salinas. And it's just pretty much CRT to the T. It has all of the theory throughout the lessons, and basically the parents were really upset about it because they saw some of these lessons with online teaching. Now that teachers had to go online, that we're actually able to see some of the stuff that's going on in the classroom. So a lot of the parents were really upset about it, came to the board meeting to speak about it, and then I wrote a letter to the board basically saying, hey, I've seen this stuff too. We need to get out of schools, and shared with them kind of what is going on with me. Like, I don't feel like I can speak up about this, but since I'm resigning, I'm going to speak up. And it made the news. So it made our local news, and it made a little bit of the state, more like, bigger news organizations, not quite the biggest, but and then Epoch Times picked it up, and it was kind of a little splash that happened. We didn't know that was going to happen, but a lot of parents are rising up across the nation with what's happening, and the left is trying to act like, oh, we don't put CRT and stuff. You guys are fear mongering yourselves, But I have all of the lessons, Kyle. Like I have all the lessons that were given to my 9th grade students, and it's worse than you can imagine. Like, just for example, just a small part of it, when they go into privilege, because they have a whole lesson on privilege, and they have the kids all take a survey, asking them questions on how privileged they are or not. Then they put all the kids on a line from most privileged to least privileged. And then they have the kids reflect on that. And these are 9th graders, and just imagine if you're the kid that shows up on top, or imagine you're the kid that shows up on the bottom, and they think they're doing something really amazing. Like by doing this with these kids, they think they're like solving racism when all it does is create more division. And then in the same lesson, they had a meme of 2 white girls graduating college, and they had their little graduation uniform on, and on top of it, it said the word privilege, and on the bottom it said, some people are born on third base and think they hit a triple. So what it is basically telling all the white kids, hey, if you graduate college, it's only because you were born on third base. It's not because of anything that you actually did. And that's just kind of, it's revert. I mean, that old saying that we need to bring back, it's reverse racism, and it's institutional racism because it's in our schools. So we've been speaking up against it. And on top of it, I'm a reading teacher. We have literacy issues in our schools. Why are we taking time away to give them these high level theories that kids are only supposed to get in their social science degrees at a liberal college? Like, Why are they giving this stuff to kids right now? Because it's all just part of the brainwashing agenda.
Wow. Wow. What do you think about this comment here? Is it anti-white or just generally racist? Or
It's definitely anti-white. It goes into this term called hegemony. So basically, the whole concept of CRT is that there's two groups. There's the oppressed and the oppressor. And the oppressor is whoever is the dominant, like in America, it's the white male Christian. And the term hegemony, which is also a big CRT term, because there's a lot of terms in this that we should be aware of, means that the white male oppressor set up all of society to benefit him and to oppress everyone who isn't in his category.
wow.
So it's it's just blatantly anti-white. So if you are there's examples of where young white men in class, young white boys, white teens in class are supposed to apologize for their toxic masculinity or their oppression of other groups. So it definitely has a strong anti-white message, but that's toxic, but also constantly telling everybody that isn't white that they are going to be oppressed. They are the oppressed class, and so it's just really bizarre stuff that has nothing. And then what the left is doing right now is they're saying, why does the right not want history to be taught? Why don't they want slavery, the history of racism and slavery in America? It's so messed up. And that's not what CRT is. And every child in America, if they have a semi-decent school, which they usually do, is learning about the history of racism in America before CRT. That's not what it is. And so they're marketing it as this is like the history class when it's not. So
yeah. Just like everything else, they just basically, it's a bait and switch.
Yep, exactly. And it's happening across America. And they're also wising up to the fact that the right is fighting against it. So now they're going to make sure they never use the term critical race theory in these lessons, but it's going to have all of the foundations of that theory weaved into the lessons, which is the idea of two classes, oppressed and oppressor.
Yeah, I need to study a little bit more on Marxism. Is that what it's coming from there? Is that the same thing? Or?
It's got, Marxism always has the two classes, the worker and the capitalist.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, that's who they're always talking about So, yes, it definitely has a lot of Marxism in it. And that's the other thing the left will deny, that it's not Marxist, but it totally is. So it's just a really good fight for us right now, getting it out of our schools and banning it and making sure that kids aren't being targeted like that, because it's such an ungodly thing to put the sins of our forefathers on people that are living today. Even if everything that they say is true, which it isn't, because they totally skew the history and they make it act like they portray history as if, the Native Americans were all just smoking peace pipes and never did anything wrong. And these, white men just came in and hurt everyone and were awful and just these horrible oppressors, right? When there's just so much, there was so much going on in our history. Native Americans owned slaves. They owned, the Cherokee tribe owned anywhere between 2,500 to 4,000 slaves at some times, up to 15% of their population. And so, but they don't talk about in these things, and they were black slaves. They were, and when 13th Amendment happened, those slaves did not get freed,
Right.
So, but they don't talk about that in the history. It's just constantly just the white man, right? So, I forget where I was going with that though, because I'm tired. There's a question though. Are you in the National Teacher Union?
From the question,
I'm not in any union. I've never been a union member for my whole career.
So that's interesting. We can talk about this in another session. But what they don't tell you is that the natives within their own people, And what's interesting is because I was watching, I love history.
Yeah.
I've got over 7 documentaries. And I was watching the Ken Burns documentary called The West. And if you guys want to look up yourself, it's the first one. And there's a Native American woman who was talking, just talking. And then she mentioned haphazardly, oh yeah, we own slaves. What? I was like, I had to rewind it. And it was like, this is like Ken Burns, 1990s. They would never put that in past the edit. So then I went online and researched it and found that there's a Native American website that talks about their own history of slavery and how they needed to get out there and tell the truth about what's happened with their own people. So the narrative is something called the noble savage, where, like you said, they're just sitting around, minding their own business, smoking peace pipes. Next thing you know, the white man came in with clubs and beat them over the head and took them into slavery, took the land. But they were conquering each other constantly for centuries, and not just the Native Americans. Everyone, because we're human beings, we're sinful. We're going to do bad stuff. And so
exactly, everyone has an oppressor and an oppressed in their lineage, Yeah.
That's it.
It is really frustrating, and they've really taken control of the narrative, and these kids they get so radicalized, and what happens after that, what is the product of this, and the what their end goal is just to create a generation that hates America. That's like, this is stolen land. We're awful. We need to tear this country down. And and so, and there's unfortunately a lot of kids that are buying into that and really think that America is something that should be, taken down. But when you look at any other world history, it's not pretty, So, yeah, it's just, it's definitely a battle that we need to fight right now to save our children, and also be aware of how they're fighting it on the left.
Wow. Well, yeah, that's awesome. And we should probably table this discussion for another time. I mean, I think we're going there further,
absolutely.
But I realize now, what you just told me, there's so much more that I don't know about this. I did a video on this CRT is racist. I thought it was pretty in depth, but it doesn't scratch the surface on what you just told me there. Plus, what other people are telling me as well. Like Tisha King, she's been all over Newsmax, not CNN, but Fox and everything else. Just and talking about critical race theory. People care about this moment, and that's what's going to get people, talking about this and getting engaged. So I'd like to have you back, or maybe come on your channel, or come your whatever it is, some kind of forum to kind of hash this out and do what we need to do. My buddy Patrick Hampton announced he's going to run for the school board locally to go against critical race theory. So much right winger for that. I always appreciate people helping out. I love his costume. It looks like Shazam.
Mm-hmm.
Are you, I guess, in support of homeschooling as possible counter to CRT?
Absolutely.
Personally, I am for that. Are you for homeschooling?
Right now, I think, especially if you are in a blue state, if you can get your kid out of the schools, you should, because what happens is, even in red states, is these teachers, they truly believe that they are supposed to install their morals and values into your child. And even if critical race theory is banned in your red state, these leftist teachers are vowing to continue to do it. And unless you have a child that has like a really strong moral compass and fortitude, which most kids don't, they're still kind of figuring themselves out, I would not have my child in a public school right now, just because of what's going on with everything. And that's just, CRT is just scratching the surface. There's so much going on in public schools right now that are destroying our children. I mean, blatantly, and just destroying our kids. And it's coming in on all angles.
I'll tell you right now, Kylie, I listened to that. I edited the video for hours, obviously. And the intro we did with the music and whatever, and made it more melodramatic. But then toward the end of it, you were telling it, the story, just toward the end of the video, I was welling up and almost cried in my own video and that we did together.
Wow.
Because the totalitarianism of the entire message, the whole hour of listening to it, again, it really got to me, right? And our kids are so important.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what you said about
Yes,
we
they
just
are.
want kids to be normal. We just want kids to be whatever. And then you mentioned again, which is I think is really important. I don't want to miss this point about how kids do. I guess Generation Z, is that it?
Yeah, Generation Z.
Yeah, these guys, how they just want to be good people, and how they're so susceptible to anything. I'll tell you a quick story real quick. I promise I'll shut up. When I was in
No, it's
Brazil,
one.
when I was in Brazil for a missionary, okay, and this was
Yeah.
I might just cry here on live TV. I don't. No, seriously, I was doing a missionary trip in Brazil. I went down there. We did outreach. We're building a church. At the end of the week, we were going to bring people off the street into the church. What we did was it was so easy to minister to people in Brazil because they accept everything. They take it doesn't matter what it is, witchcraft, whether it's Christianity, whether it's Muslim, Hindu, whatever it is. Make up a religion and tell them they're into it because you know why? They don't want to be wrong, so they put everything together. So I'm just gonna grab everything because I just want to be a good person, and they were just so manipulated, and that's what I'm fearful for our kids. You mentioned that before that if they just want to be good, then they can be manipulated by anything. Just mentioned there, triggered my mind. Say if they're have the inner fortitude, and most kids don't, which is why we have to come in and help them.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And our message is not radical. It's not something weird. It's not it's not extremist. It's actually just what the foundation of this country was founded on, which is the Constitution, which is religious liberty, which is freedom of speech, just self-government, all of those things that the left is just rejecting right now. And our kids are really wanting it. They want a nostalgic America right now, really bad. And they've seen this last year how sucky it's been, and they're over it. They're done. So I think this is a really good
I
time
said, Daddy,
it's a really good time to really make sure that we are speaking up and cleaning things up right now, because everyone has seen the fruits of the left right now.
Yeah. My daughter asked me when she was about 11 years old, she said, Daddy, were the 80s really that great? I said, yeah. They were
We didn't
more
know
simple,
it,
but they
right?
were.
We didn't really know it, but we knew. Now we know it.
Yeah. I think we're breaking up here. We're going to probably have to cut this, but
yeah.
Can you still hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Let me get off my Wi-Fi.
That's
maybe.
Cool. My internet's going. I usually plug in my internet before I go live, but I didn't plug it in. I have my VPN running through, so it's a little slower. So
now I really lost you.
But anyway,
back on my Wi-Fi.
We can hear you. We can hear you.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I just tried to switch to my.
So yeah,
but it's fine. It was worse then.
That's fine. Just that my connection may be a little bit slow because I'm running on VPN versus my direct internet connection. So, but yeah, a team here says you respect. Yeah, sometimes our fear has to be superseded by our fear of losing something good should override at some point our fear of being persecuted. So at some point in time, the rubber meets the road with some people. Some people it's the kids, some people it's my grass, some people it's and I think most people are coming to our thresholds or comfort levels or interview closer and closer and closer and closer into the in your face, and now it's too late. And so you want to act accordingly because now life is happening to everybody now, whereas before it was just kind of in a distance.
Yeah, exactly. It is affecting us all. It's definitely affecting our children. We're having really high suicide rates this last year, really high depression amongst teens. So yeah, it's just and we need to not think that it's too late, because it isn't. We really can take back this country if we just wise up, because what the left has done is they have a stronghold on culture, and they have a stronghold on the celebrities, and they have a stronghold on, colleges, but what we need to do is not necessarily copy them, but just get more forward in our message and our alternative, and we do have some really good alternatives. Like we just do. We've got a lot going on for us. You go into a red state and it's just people are happier out here. It's freedom, So
I can't imagine what you've gone through between that whole. Yeah. You have such an interesting story. I mean, so I look forward to see what's going to happen down the road with you in the next few weeks. Probably you'll probably get some calls and stuff. And if you need any support from me at all, if you need anything from me at all, I'm there. Whatever you need.
Sounds good. I'm pretty much almost done with my children's book. So I'm gonna actually send you, when we get done with this interview, I'm gonna send you, and you can't share it yet, but I'm gonna, just so you can see, I'm gonna send you the cover. It's not all the way done yet.
Don't send it on Instagram. Send it on Signal or send it on Telegram.
Okay.
And you my number here.
Sounds good. I just, I'm sharing it with a few people that I just want to get some feedback from, and so you're one of them because you have kids.
We file and put a password behind it, and then you just give me the password. I just want to send it anywhere that's on an unsecured network. So.
Sure. Good advice.
Okay, I appreciate that. I feel honored about that. So I'm looking forward. Yeah. By the way, she's talking about everybody. She mentioned in the interview, if you missed that, and it sounds awesome.
Allegorical story. Yeah,
what's the word?
Term. It's basically, it's about the America, but it's set in a farm, kind of like Animal Farm, the book Animal Farm, but for little kids. And so basically, it's going to share allegorical stories in a farm, sharing leftist policies and how they can destroy this farm, and how our policies that we have right now make it a good farm, And it's just funny little stories, and I think people will.
Animal Farm minus murderous pigs and dogs.
Yeah, Animal Farm that's not as hard and long to read.
All right. Well, I have a live stream I need to get on. It's recorded.
Okay.
I'm doing a podcast. Can you believe that?
Wow. Right now? After this?
It's not. I don't have to. I'm not on a schedule, but I need to just.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see.
Well, let me know when you.
But send that to me. I'll look.
Sounds good. God bless you.
Let you know what? I'm sorry.
I said, God bless you. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. God bless you as well. Thank you so much.
Yes. Let's connect off this eventually. Right. Okay. All right. See you guys.
Okay. See everybody. All right. So she's gone. Questions here. Let me see. Just a quick question here. I've been privileged enough to read the book. It's amazing. The children's book. Oh, sweet. I look forward to seeing that. So I'm so excited for her. I think she's got such an exciting future ahead of her, and support her. I'll absolutely do that. So her channel is Conservative Mixed Girl on YouTube and on Instagram, and she is Kylie Ites on Facebook. I think I got that right. I have a hard stop here at 10 o'clock time. I got to jump off here. I'm doing a podcast, and I'll hopefully show that out at some point in time. So again, thanks everyone. Let me get this banner off here. All of my subscribers, my members who help them love, everyone else who came on this channel tonight. Let me just go through the comments here to see who talked. Thank you, Right Winger, for the $5. 18, you're always awesome, White. Thank you so much as well. Yes, exactly. Thank you for that. Thank you so much for that. Thank you so much for that, Keon. I hope I said your name right. Let me see here. Who else came on? And Morris called, but he went to dinner. Thank you as well for coming on. Everyone else who I'm missing. Thank you so much. God bless everybody. And I will see everyone next time.